Part 43. Invincible Scratch Lottery System. Author, Xiankong Fashi. Chapter 421. Swish. Another attack followed, and Qin Feng's golden eyes could not find the opponent's figure, and he was caught in front of him. At this moment, Qin Feng was fully focused, and the God King's vision surrounded him, spreading out a golden bell of 10,000 feet, which was upside down on his body, with endless runes swimming, and he stood in the 9 forbidden area in an instant. Ding! A crisp sound came, and the opponent's crazy attack technique hit Qin Feng's God King's vision golden bell, which directly shattered Qin Feng's God King's golden bell. All this was simply unbelievable to him. However, at this moment, Longma took him out again thousands of meters away, to the sky. This time, Qin Feng stared at the killer with his golden eyes, and his eyes saw a trace of inexplicable trajectory. The killer of the Killer Dynasty once again escaped into the void, and the speed was extremely fast. This person is the son of God of the Assassin Dynasty. He was surprised that he failed to kill Qin Feng after repeated attacks. Little monster, go and protect Qing'er and the others. Qin Feng stared at the son of God of the Assassin Dynasty without blinking. He floated up and released the dragon horse. With the skills and strength of the dragon horse, it is not very useful here, because its body is too big and it has to take Qin Feng into consideration, so it cannot exert its full strength. Like this assassin, he can hide his body with the help of the surrounding mountains and rivers. Unless the dragon horse uses the dragon energy to turn all the surrounding mountains and rivers into a dead end, he can achieve success. But in that case, I am afraid that the princes guarding the capital will feel dissatisfied. After all, this place is still within the sphere of influence of the capital of the Great Yan Kingdom. If it is turned into a dead end, it will inevitably cause great trouble. Moreover, the killer's body skills are extremely high. Even if this place is razed to the ground, I am afraid that it may not be successful. Yes. The dragon horse monster sent out a divine thought, and it leaped and turned into a beam of light, coming to the side of Suzaku and others. If it continues to stay there, it will not be of much use to Qin Feng. It has a very fast speed, and if it is determined to escape, it can also get rid of the killer's attack. But running away blindly is not Qin Feng's style. If he is attacked, he will definitely counter-attack and kill the enemy with a strong force. Buzz. At this time, Suzaku also encountered a crisis. In order to allow Qin Feng to analyze and take into account, several killers from the Killer Dynasty also attacked Suzaku and others. These people have extremely high hidden skills, which also has a great impact on Suzaku and others. But fortunately, the speed of the crane and the peacock is very strong, and Sun Wuxian has the Hunyuan Yuki stick in his hand, and they briefly blocked the opponent's attack. And the Hunyuan Yuki stick has a 3-second stun effect. At the beginning, a killer was hit by Sun Wuxian and stood there. It was at this moment that Zuck used the Fengqi boring to kill the killer in the void. This scene immediately made Sun Wukong's eyes glow. The weapon given to him by his master actually had such an effect. It was so amazing that he couldn't let it go. Facing the killer's attack, Zuck and the others rode the cranes to rise again and circled in the void. Because the cranes and peacocks are both extremely fast, they stay in one position in the void for no more than 3 seconds. Later, the 4 killers beside them couldn't catch up with their speed at all, and at this time, the dragon horse attacked and directly killed another killer. These killers were not as powerful as the son of God who attacked Qin Feng. The rest of the killers instantly escaped into the void and dared not show their heads again. They could only escape into the void to find opportunities. Hiss. Qin Feng took a deep breath, and the true energy around him was surging. The Juexian sword in his hand flowed with red light, and one after another light lingered, and the divine power fluctuated into the sky. The hidden skills of the person who came to kill him were extremely powerful. Qin Feng thought that the other party might be the famous assassin dynasty in the rumors. If there is anyone in the Great Yan Kingdom who wants to kill him, it is probably only the Xia family. In order to kill him, the Xia family actually invited the Assassin Dynasty. It was really a big deal. The son of the Assassin Dynasty was dressed in black and was shrouded in mist. He failed to kill Qin Feng in 2 attacks, which made him realize that the target of this assassination was very difficult. He turned into a phantom and instantly went out thousands of meters and disappeared among the mountains and forests. This time the attack failed. He knew that he was not Qin Feng's opponent alone. The other party's performance was not the level that a cultivator in the moving mountain realm should have. The information this time was wrong. Qin Feng's cultivation level was improved to the divine illumination realm. The improvement speed of this realm is simply unheard of. Qin Feng's intelligence was updated 3 days ago, but it was during these 3 days that he upgraded his realm and became a cultivator in the realm of Shenzhou, which surprised the Son of God. However, what surprised him even more was that the fighting power shown by the other party was not the strength of a cultivator who had just entered the realm of Shenzhou. Seeing that he could not kill Qin Feng, he retreated decisively. "Since you want to kill me, then stay." Qin Feng was surrounded by a radiant light, so he naturally could not let the other party leave. He stepped on the Nixian step and rushed over at once. As the saying goes, don't chase after a desperate enemy, but Qin Feng is not such a person. Since the other party dared to attack and kill him, there is absolutely no reason to let him go. Nixian step seemed to involve the field of time. Qin Feng penetrated thousands of meters in an instant and came to the top of a mountain. He swung the Juexian sword in his hand and slashed down. Chilla! The Juexian sword radiated a stunning edge, splitting the void. A red light shook the earth and split the mountain apart, and the rocks shook the clouds. At the critical moment, the Son of God of the Divine Dynasty hid in the void and waved the long sword in his hand to stop it. Boom! A loud noise came from the forest, and his long sword blocked Qin Feng's Juexian sword. The sound penetrated gold and split stones, and the trembling sound resounded through the 9 heavens. The Son of God of the Killer Divine Dynasty was hit by Qin Feng and flew backwards on the spot, smashing between the mountains, unable to resist his unparalleled strong attack. The Son of God of the Killer Divine Dynasty fell to the ground, and his figure disappeared in an instant, leaving only a blood stain on the spot. Under such a real hard resistance, the Son of God in the Wuxiang realm could not resist Qin Feng's offensive at all, and was shocked to spit out blood. When the son of the Assassin Dynasty saw that the attack failed, he immediately retreated. At this moment, he had no choice but to flee far away, avoid the sharp edge first, and then make plans. However, Qin Feng was not going to let him go at all. He was almost attacked and killed just now, so how could he swallow this breath? "No matter who you are, if you dare to kill me, you must die." Window. Tabula equals window. Tabula. Tabula.push, mode, thumbspeed -01, container, tabula below article thumbnail -300x250, placement, below article thumbnail -300x250, target. Type, mix. Invincible Scratch Lottery System. Author, Xiankong Fashi. Chapter 422. Qin Feng shouted loudly, his voice was extremely majestic, so mighty in the sky. The huge sound shook the entire mountain range below to resonate, and the unparalleled power made the birds and beasts in the mountains below tremble and worship as if they were gods. "Are you from the Killer Divine Dynasty? Who asked you to kill me?" Qin Feng stood above the mountain, looking down at the son of the Divine Dynasty below. As his voice fell, the Juexian sword in his hand slashed down again. This place is nearly 10,000 meters away from the capital of Dian, but Qin Feng's voice still spread out, making everyone look horrified. The Killer Divine Dynasty is an extremely extraordinary existence in the entire ancient continent. They have taken on countless terrible tasks and succeeded more than 90% of them. Such a terrible divine dynasty was directly revealed by Qin Feng, which made everyone terrified. You must know that the Killer Divine Dynasty is a behemoth, its headquarters is hidden in a barren mountain, and even the ancient family does not know where its base is. Moreover, judging from the opponent's hidden body skills and sudden attack methods, he is definitely an extremely extraordinary person in the Killer Divine Dynasty, and he may even be the son of God of the Killer Divine Dynasty. A young man riding a dragon horse can actually make the son of God of the Killer Divine Dynasty take action. It can be imagined how extraordinary the identity of that young man is. Of course it is the person who wants you dead. The son of God of the Killer Divine Dynasty quickly swallowed a pill, and the light burned around him, his hair was flying, and he quickly treated his injuries. If you don't tell me, you will die even more. Qin Feng's eyes turned cold, he waved the Juexian sword in his hand, and chopped it down again. Under the waving of his Juexian sword, this world spread endless waves. The terrible sword light, piercing the sky and shaking the earth, caused the mountains below to collapse continuously. It is difficult to find a few Juexian swords of medium quality in the whole Yanbei. And Qin Feng's Suzaku 10 strikes crossed out the cumbersome moves and became Suzaku 1 strikes. In a blow that shook the heavens and earth, 8 peaks were split off, and the Juexian sword fell down, like a red dragon suppressing it. The god of the Killer Dynasty used the immortal sword in his hand to block, and his immortal sword instantly shattered into powder in the void. At the same time, countless magic weapons appeared around the god of the Son of God, blocking Qin Feng's Suzaku attack. However, the terrible light diffused out, and all his magic weapons and weapons were also shattered under the suppression of the Suzaku of the Juexian sword. More importantly, the armor on the god of the Killer Dynasty could not protect him, and his arms instantly shattered in the void, turning into blood mist. Then, Qin Feng stabbed out with another sword, and this sword directly cut off the head of the god of the Killer Dynasty. The red sword light swept, instantly killing the head and soul of the god of the Son of God into ashes, leaving only a torn body, dyeing the mountains and forests red. The powerful Son of God of the Killer God Dynasty died in the mountains. If he could grow up, he might become an extremely amazing God Lord in the Killer God Dynasty in the future, but today he came to the end and became a corpse, which is really sad. In the distant void, some cultivators were suspended in the air, watching the movement in the forest, all shocked. This young master is too fierce. That man is probably the son of God of the Killer God Dynasty, but he was killed in the counterattack. Too strong. Many cultivators were shocked and dumbfounded. The Killer God Dynasty almost never failed to kill people. Unexpectedly, he was counterattacked and killed today. This scene is really rare, and everyone has a great interest in Qin Feng's identity. He can carry 4 beauties and has a powerful divine beast mount. He must be a young man from a noble family. This thought arises in the hearts of many people. At this time, Longma and his team had also made achievements near them, and the remaining assassins from the 2 assassin dynasties were also killed in a blood mist. Just when everyone thought that the matter was over, something amazing happened. In the mountains that were just destroyed by Qin Feng's Suzaku, 8 divine rainbows burst out again. The 8 divine rainbows were earth-shattering, and their speed was extremely fast. The peerless murderous intent they exuded made the sky and earth snow in June, as if it had come to the cold winter. The 8 sword lights were unstoppable, and their target was directly pointed at Qin Feng. The icy and piercing sword energy whistled, which made people terrified. No one thought that there were still 8 assassins hiding in the mountain that Qin Feng had just destroyed. You know, Qin Feng's attack broke the mountain into pieces, and it was only 1 step away from where they were hiding. But even in the face of such an attack, the 8 assassins hid themselves to the extreme, without any panic movements. At this moment, just as Qin Feng turned around, their sword lights illuminated the world and pointed directly at the target, Qin Feng. They are worthy of being the assassin dynasty. In such a must-kill situation, they are on the verge of danger, but they are still motionless in order to kill the target. It's really scary. Did you notice that the sword light shot by that young man actually passed by the position of the assassins? I'm afraid that some assassins died in the attack just now. In the face of such an attack, they are so patient and motionless, just to kill with one blow. Everyone was talking, and even the half-step prince leader who was guarding the city gate was stunned, with a golden edge in his eyes. These people from the killer dynasty hid here. They took great pains to kill this young man. This was a dead end. Just when everyone thought Qin Feng was finished, he turned around calmly, with a sneer on his lips, looking fearless. It turned out that at the moment he turned around, he had already used his fiery eyes to discover the unusual movement in the forest. Although those people were very good at hiding, 2 of them were affected. Although they didn't say a word, the blood mist that spread out was completely seen by Qin Feng, so his deliberate turn was actually just a cover. Facing such a deadly situation, Qin Feng stepped on the Nixian step, as if it involved the realm of time. It seemed that the movements of everyone in the sky slowed down, but he was still very fast. When the Nixian step was used to the extreme, it could reverse the movement of the immortals, and the Juexian sword in Qin Feng's hand was even more terrifying. He slashed across the sky with the sword and attacked without mercy. Zuck's strike instantly triggered a fatal blow. This sword was amazing and brilliant, as if it was going to cut through the avenue. A red streak crossed the sky, splitting the 2 killers on the spot, and their bodies lay in the mountains and forests. All these changes happened too quickly. The people who were paying attention in front of the city gate tower couldn't believe it. If they faced such a deadly situation, they would only have one way to go. No one expected that Qin Feng could actually perform a counter-attack in such a critical situation. It was amazing. Window. Tabula equals window. Tabula. Tabula.push, mode, thumbs feed -01, container, tabula below article feed, placement, below article feed, target. Type, mix. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Invincible Scratch Lottery System. Author, Xiankong Fashi. Chapter 423. Qin Feng was suspended in the void. He pierced through 2 people with the Juexian sword, and blood spurted out. Qin Feng also felt that the people who were besieging him at this moment were all in the Wuxiang realm. Although they were slightly weaker than the Son of God, they were better in number. If they were ordinary Wuxiang cultivators, they would probably die under the siege of these 8 people. However, Qin Feng could not be judged by common sense. His fighting power was extremely terrifying, and his spiritual perception was far beyond that of ordinary people. He killed 2 people on the spot. At the critical moment, Qin Feng stepped on the Nixian step and accurately calculated the trajectory of each person's sword light. He jumped out. Chilla. Then, Qin Feng dodged the 6 sword lights and stabbed directly at the position where he had just floated. The terrible sword energy made the void vibrate, and the space was like a rag, with 6 cracks, which was extremely terrifying. The killer dynasty was able to gain a foothold on the ancient continent because of its long heritage and unfathomable strength. Otherwise, it would not be possible for it to come back and still exist in the world after being strangled by many holy places again and again. These 6 people have amazing means. They work together, and the sword energy interweaves into a net in the void, and the majestic killing style presses towards Qin Feng again. Facing the attack, Qin Feng stepped on the reverse fairy step and dodged again at the critical moment. His speed is too fast, and the light and shadow that he incarnates makes these people unable to see his divine form at all. More importantly, even if they want to use their divine thoughts, it is impossible to lock Qin Feng. The killer dynasty has always been famous for its body movements, but Qin Feng's body movements are even more terrifying than theirs. Qin Feng's body moves as if he has turned into a flying fairy. His speed is extremely fast, which makes him invincible. Swish. The Juexian sword slashed out again, and Qin Feng rushed over. The Nixian steps burst into pieces of light, like a picture of the Tao, appearing under his feet. Every time Qin Feng stepped, it was like traveling through the void. When the Nixian steps were used to the extreme, they evolved into the supreme Tao picture. This terrifying body movement, when practiced to the extreme, can reverse the immortals, which is also the origin of the name of this step. Puff. Qin Feng appeared from the void and directly chopped a person alive in the void. Blood immediately spread out. Another strong man of the Killer Divine Dynasty died. This scene really shocked the other 5 killers. In the Killer Divine Dynasty, there are 3 lists of heaven, earth, and man. They are ranked at the top of the human list, and their strength is extremely terrifying. But this time facing Qin Feng, they actually gave them a sense of death. To be able to be ranked among the human insurance, they must succeed in at least 100 missions. They were all veterans, but Qin Feng killed 2 of them as soon as they met, and now another one was killed. They were no match for Qin Feng at all, which made them extremely frightened. Near the city gate, everyone watching the battle was shocked. The assassins failed directly, and they were counterattacked and killed successfully. It was unheard of. Swish. Qin Feng stepped on the Nixian step, and turned into a flash of light. He seemed to be involved in the trajectory of the Tao. The fairy light under his feet was gorgeous. He stepped on a person into a blood mist with the Nixian step. At this time, the other 4 people were all stunned. They dared not fight anymore. They all turned into divine rainbows and fled in all directions. The multiple failures in the attack on Qin Feng proved that the mission had failed. If they continued to hold on here, they would all be killed by Qin Feng. Boom! 4 magic weapons with bright lights appeared around Qin Feng, blocking his path, and then burst out with earth-shaking shock waves. At the first moment, Qin Feng was surrounded by 4 visions, guarding him in the center, and with the blessing of the God King vision, he stood in the 9 forbidden areas. The 4 magic weapons collapsed, and the light that spread out was extremely bright. The world was trembling. The terrible power was like thunder in the sky, which made people's blood boil. When the light dissipated, the masters of the 4 killer dynasties had already escaped into the mountains and forests, and were already 1,000 meters away from Qin Feng. Swish. First, Qin Feng directly locked onto one person, and then he stepped on the Nixian step, transformed into a divine rainbow, and chased after him. Puff. Qin Feng's Nixian step was so fast that he caught up with the killer in an instant. He stepped directly on the other person and suppressed him in the mountains and forests. Who told you to kill me? Qin Feng's eyes were slightly cold, and his golden eyes exuded a cold light. He was surrounded by murderous aura and stared at any subtle movements of the killer. He had no intention of getting any useful information from the killer. Such a desperate person would never compromise on his own initiative. Sure enough, the next moment, Qin Feng's keen observation ability revealed a very strange smile on the man's face. However, Qin Feng had already planned. He released a ray of his Panga blood pressure to suppress this man. In an instant, the killer felt the power of heaven and earth suppressed by Qin Feng, and instantly lost control of his bowels and bladder. This man's plan could only fail after all. Qin Feng's Panga blood was the most amazing. In the moment when he lost consciousness, it broke through the defense in his sea of consciousness. However, this man was indeed very outstanding, and in his sea of consciousness, he had a powerful restriction. When Qin Feng's divine pattern power wanted to forcibly absorb his memory, his restriction directly shattered, spreading terrible waves. Swish. Qin Feng kicked this man away with one foot, and the other party shattered in the air, turning into blood mist, and scattered between heaven and earth. In just a moment, Qin Feng got a hint of useful breath from this person's mind. It was a stronghold hidden in the mountains. As for the purpose of that stronghold, Qin Feng did not feel it, but he decided to go and see it himself. After confirming that the three people had fled and there were no assassins from the assassin dynasty around, Qin Feng picked up the diamond scratch card dropped here and joined Zuck and the others. Ding, congratulations, remember to use the diamond scratch card successfully, and get a pair of 1000 miles transmission notes. The 1000 miles transmission notes are made of special strange stones and can transmit resonant sounds hundreds of miles away. They are a must-have magic weapon for long-distance couples. Qin Feng listened to the systematic introduction with a black line on his face. This so-called 1000 miles transmission note is similar to the communicator of his time. However, in that era, calls required base stations, and this 1000 miles transmission note could not be used for calls, but could only show some handwriting hundreds of miles away. Although it can only send text messages, it is very useful for Qin Feng and the others. After all, their current cultivation is not high enough, and they have not reached the ability to gather sound into a line from 1000 miles away. With this 1000-mile sound transmission note, they can communicate at any time. After Qin Feng explained the effect of the 1000-mile sound transmission note, he kept one for himself and handed the other to them. Zhou Qing'er was quick-eyed and took the 1000-mile sound transmission note first. With such a good thing, she would not be afraid of not knowing the master's movements. Invincible Scratch Lottery System. Author, Xiankong Fashi. Chapter 424. You go to the city to find an inn to stay in first, and I'll go take care of some things. Qin Feng casually scratched open another diamond scratch-off card and said, he got 10,000 Mingzhou pills. Good. Zuck and others agreed, and they landed in front of the capital gate and entered the capital of Dian Kingdom. Since many people saw Qin Feng's performance, no one dared to embarrass them when Suzaku and the others entered the city. They successfully found an inn and stayed temporarily, waiting for Qin Feng's return. Qin Feng rode on the dragon horse, took his young apprentice son Wuxian, transformed into two golden lights, and flew towards the mountains and forests. They left after images in the void, and half a stick of incense later, they appeared in an extremely secret mountain col 100 miles away. Under the sun, the trees in the mountain forest were filled with shadows and murderous intent. This is the stronghold Qin Feng feels in the Killer Sea of Consciousness. As the stronghold of the Killer God Dynasty, the people left behind must be very powerful, but Qin Feng's sharp eyes did not see much danger in it. So the two of them rode dragon horses and decided to rush directly into the mountain domineeringly. There are enemies. As Qin Feng and the two men arrived, the killer Shen Chao who was patrolling the mountain shouted, instantly alarming everyone on the mountain. Who are you? Have you eaten immortal gall? The killers of the Shen dynasty were extremely angry. Their stronghold was extremely secretive, and someone actually broke into the mountain gate. Bang! Sun Wuxian took action directly and knocked away the killer who spoke, shattering him into pieces between heaven and earth. You, who are you? Everyone on the mountain took a breath of cold air. These two people came with bad intentions. They shot and killed one person. They were extremely arrogant. He who will raise you to the ground. Qin Feng spoke indifferently. He and Sun Wuxian were filled with murderous aura and were suspended in the air. Do you know where this place is? You are looking for death. A monk was suspended in mid-air and yelled. He found that Qin Feng's cultivation was only in the first level of mind movement, and the monkey behind him was in the first level of Wuxiang. With these two people, he said shamelessly, if you want to raise their mountains to the ground, you really underestimate them. It's because I know where you are that I dare to come and kill you. Qin Feng yelled loudly, this is the stronghold of the Killer Dynasty. Although he could not feel the breath of the three killers, since it is related to the Killer Dynasty, he must not let it go. Kill. After hearing this, several killers patrolling the mountain rushed towards Qin Feng, waving their weapons, and the terrifying murderous aura filled the air, making the void tremble wildly. Bang! Sun Wuxian definitely didn't tolerate them. He waved the Hunyuan Yuki stick in his hand. In an instant, the light trembled, and the 8 masters patrolling the mountain were beaten into a pulp. Sun Wuxian is so powerful. His physical body has endless divine power. The 8 masters guarding the mountain are also in the phaseless state, but to him, they are as vulnerable as chickens. Go and report to the leader quickly. The killers on the mountain patrol knew that the trouble was big and the intruder was so terrifying, so they killed him brazenly, which was very unusual. And the other party can accurately find the stronghold of their killer dynasty. Obviously they are well prepared. Maybe there is an extremely terrifying existence beside the other party. No, I'm here. A long roar came from the mountain, and an elder from this place was suspended in the air. Who are you and why are you making such a fuss at the gate? The elders of the assassin dynasty had stern eyes, with undisguised murderous intent. Suddenly, the elder of the killer god dynasty recognized Qin Feng's figure at this stronghold. The news of going to kill Qin Feng was sent to the son of God. Unexpectedly, the other party came here. Could it be said that the mission of the son of God and the 8 masters failed? Where are the 3 killers? Qin Feng stood on the back of the dragon horse, his white clothes fluttering. He observed the endless mountains here with piercing eyes, looking for the figures of the 3 killers. In his opinion, since this is a stronghold of the killer dynasty, the 3 people probably fled here. What are you talking about? I don't understand. The elder of the assassin dynasty naturally couldn't admit it, so he pretended to be extremely confused and asked. I have killed all the sons of God and the 5 killers of your dynasty. Unfortunately, 3 of them escaped. Qin Feng stood on the back of the dragon horse and said with some regret that letting the 3 people escape really made him feel a little unhappy. Master, do we have some misunderstanding? The elder of the killer god dynasty opened his mouth to say something, but he tried his best to defend himself, appearing extremely innocent. A disdainful sneer appeared on Qin Feng's lips. Sun Wuxian had already killed several killers just now, and the old man was so calm at this time. How could there be no problem? Those 3 people are not here. So there is still your stronghold in the capital of Dian Kingdom. Qin Feng said to himself, not caring at all about the extremely ugly look on the elder's face. Where is that stronghold? Qin Feng turned around and stared at the elder of the killer dynasty and said, his eyes revealed a shocking edge, and murderous intent burst out. At this moment, the elder of the killer dynasty knew that it was no longer necessary to continue the performance. He looked coldly at Qin Feng in front and yelled, Qin Feng, you actually know that this is a stronghold of the killer dynasty, so you shouldn't be so arrogant. Come in. Base. As the elder of the killer divine dynasty finished speaking, he instantly soared into the sky, and for a moment, the ground emitted earth-shaking sword energy, surrounding Qin Feng and Sun Wuxian. The ultimate killing formation laid by this mountain was completely activated at this time, covering Qin Feng and Sun Wuxian. This ultimate killing formation, even if the princes are surrounded in it, they can't escape unscathed. Qin Feng, you are too careless. The elder of the killer divine dynasty roared disdainfully, and he was suspended in the air like a ghost. Unexpectedly, the attack on this person failed, and also caused the death of a son of God in their killer divine dynasty. If this matter was reported to the headquarters of the killer divine dynasty, the person in charge would be furious. Fortunately, the other party was too arrogant and ran here. As long as he was killed, all problems could be solved. I didn't expect that a mere cultivator in the realm of intention would cause such a great loss to our Han divine dynasty. The elder in charge of the killer divine dynasty said to himself with a thought. The other party's performance was too eye-catching. He was able to kill their son of God. He is worthy of being the son of the Holy Land. I will tell the person in charge of the High Numbers branch hall about this matter. Let the saint be careful. Qin Feng alone is so tricky. If the Suzaku Holy Land blames him, it will be very dangerous. At this moment, the elder suddenly found a familiar figure in front of him. Invincible Scratch Lottery System. Author, Xiankong Fashi. Chapter 425. At this moment, the elder of the Killer Dynasty turned pale with shock. He never thought that Qin Feng, who was in the killing array just now, would appear in front of him like a ghost. Of course he didn't know that Qin Feng's formation skills were so high that few people could match him. He found the Shenman in an instant and escaped with Sun Wuxian. At this moment, Qin Feng was suspended in the air, turning the Juexian sword in his hand, turning into a red sky dragon and slashing down. The thick dragon is connected with the clouds in the sky, like a waterfall, shocking the world. Bang! The killer god was shocked at the elders here. He transformed into a ray of light and escaped instantly. In the void where he had just stood, a huge wave was cut directly by the Juexian sword. The sword light fell on the mountain below, splitting a mountain in half. Speak well if you have something to say. The elder of the Killer Dynasty changed his color. Although he was in the 5th level of Wuxiang Heaven, he felt the breath of death when faced with the shocking edge of Qin Feng's immortal sword. However, Qin Feng ignored his words at all. He swung the immortal sword in his hand and slashed at the opponent again, without giving the opponent a chance. At this moment, the elder of the Assassin Dynasty could no longer dodge. A long knife appeared in his hand, slashing with brilliant light, ready to challenge Qin Feng's immortal sword. Puff! This sword was so amazing. The light from the sword cut off one of the assassin god's arms and sent it flying away. Qin Feng, you are going too far. The arm was chopped off, and the elders of the Killer Dynasty roared loudly. The shocking immortal pace of their Killer Dynasty was actually unable to perform in the face of Qin Feng. This made him know that Qin Feng was invincible. What a bully! You attacked and killed me first, but it turned out that I bullied others too much. What's the truth? Qin Feng was suspended in mid-air and said calmly. At this time, Sun Wuxian transformed into a ray of light and began to hunt other killers on this mountain. We sent people to kill you just for a mission, not because we wanted to kill you. The elders of the Assassin Dynasty were frightened. Qin Feng's power was so powerful that he had to resort to sophistry in order to escape. Ha ha ha, you are trying to say that some people buy murderers to kill people, but as the murderers, you have nothing to do with this matter at all. This truth is really new. When Qin Feng heard this, he couldn't help laughing. This elder from the Killer God Dynasty was really good at sophistry, but no matter how the other party tried to sophistry, they couldn't change the fact that they killed him. Qin Feng felt awe-inspiring in his heart. He stepped forward in the void, with the immortal sword in his hand and his hair glowing with peerless sharpness, looking down at the elder of the Killer God Dynasty below. Tell me, how much did the head of the Xia family spend to let you kill me? How do you know? Suddenly, the elder of the Assassin Dynasty knew that he had made a mistake, and he quickly shut up. But Qin Feng already got the answer he needed. It's indeed the Xia family. Qin Feng's heart was filled with murderous intent. Now that he had the answer, there was no need for the elder of the Shen Dynasty in front of him to stay. Kill! Qin Feng stepped forward in an instant, and the 4 major images of Qinglong, White Tiger, Suzaku, and Suanwu appeared around him, immediately covering the elders of the Killer Dynasty. This is an extremely frightening scene. 4 terrifying divine beasts are suspended in the void, bursting out endless divine flames, and the mountains here are constantly collapsing. Qin Feng and the elders of the Killer God Dynasty quickly fought in the 4-character formation. The 4-symbol rune array was rotating, emitting terrifying divine flames from time to time, making the elder unable to concentrate. And Qin Feng was like the master of heaven and earth in the 4-symbol rune formation. He was wielding the absolute immortal sword again and again. Under the blessing of the 9 forbidden sword, the light was blazing and the space was constantly collapsing. Qi! The absolute immortal sword thrust out again, and the terrifying light destroyed everything, directly cutting off the other arm of the elder of the assassin dynasty. This is impossible. The elders of the killer dynasty did not believe that he was in the 5th level of the Wuxiang heaven. Why did he not have the slightest ability to fight back when facing Qin Feng? But Qin Feng was not moved at all. He stepped on Zhuexian and charged forward again, not giving the opponent any chance. The next moment, 81 times the power was superimposed, and the sword light radiated out, directly acting on the elder of the killer god. The elder was directly beheaded and flew out, falling in the mountains and forests. After doing all this, Qin Feng prepared to rendezvous with Sun Wuxian and began to take action over this stronghold. The people of the killer god dynasty have done many evil things, and he has no reservations and is ready to wipe them all out to avoid future troubles. Since this place is one of the strongholds of the assassin dynasty, it is absolutely impossible to have only this one elder. At this time, Sun Wuxian ran into trouble. He was blocked by 2 powerful monks. Qin Feng landed next to Sun Wuxian. He looked at the 2 masters blocking Sun Wuxian with a look of surprise on his face. A master from the 4th level of the formless heaven. Qin Feng understood somewhat. These 2 people were both in the 4th level of the formless heaven. It was no wonder that they blocked Sun Wuxian's figure and could not move forward again. Boy, you killed the son of the god of my dynasty, and you still dare to come here. You are really desperate. Let's kill him together. The formless 4th level monk from the killer dynasty stared at Qin Feng and shouted. When the monks from the assassin dynasty who were watching with eagerness around heard this, they all took action boldly, killing them all endlessly, and greeted Qin Feng. You attack and kill me first, so of course I have to collect some interest first. Qin Feng's eyes were full of murderous intent, and a heaven-shaking seal appeared between his palms, killing him on the spot. The heaven-turning seal turned into a majestic mountain in the void, flowing with vast momentum, and fell down, making the whole world tremble. Bang! The terrifying power spread out, and no one could resist it. The dozens of people who rushed over first were all suppressed and wiped out by the 9 forbidden blessings of the heaven-turning seal. This was an extremely breathtaking scene. The heaven-turning seal instantly calmed the 2 monks from the 4th level of the formless heaven. Both of them were speechless and sweating profusely. No wonder the other party was able to escape from the attack of the Son of God. It turned out to be so terrifying. Qin Feng, do you want to fight my killer dynasty until death? The 2 monks from the 4th phase and the 4th heaven shouted loudly that Qin Feng was too terrifying. I am afraid that only the Supreme Elder here can fight with him. Ha ha ha, you actually know my identity. You should know that I am the Holy Son of the Suzaku Holy Land. If you want to kill me, you are making the entire Suzaku Holy Land an enemy. Qin Feng said loudly, the Suzaku Holy Land is an ancient holy land, and its foundation is extremely profound. If all the people are mobilized, the entire ancient continent will probably be pierced. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Invincible Scratch Lottery System. Author, Xiankong Fashi. Chapter 426. My dynasty of killers has been around for countless thousands of years and has been able to survive the eradication of many ancient holy places. How can we be afraid of the threat from your Suzaku Holy Land? The monks in the formless realm shouted loudly, their voices sounding like thunder from the sky, trying to scare the Supreme Elder here. Ha, even the ancient Holy Land is not looked down upon, so let me show you the true heritage of the ancient family. Starting from here, first eradicate the killer dynasty branch. Qin Feng's murderous intent lingered, and there was nothing to say. He would first destroy all the masters of the divine dynasty here, and then go to the capital of the Yan kingdom to find out the branches of the killer divine dynasty and strangle them one by one. Now that he is at odds with the killer god, Qin Feng decides to fight to the death. Kill! Qin Feng shouted loudly, stepped on the immortal steps and transformed into a ghost, and chased after him as if he was teleporting. Fight! The two monks in the formless realm looked at each other. Murderous intent burst out in their eyes, ready to fight to the death. One of them held a broadsword, covered his whole body with protective armor, and then swung out the gleaming long sword. The other person was holding a long sword, and his whole body was also protected by the treasure armor. The sharp sword light was earth-shattering, and the murderous auras swept through the void and rushed in all directions. Faced with such a strong intimidation, the assassins from the assassin dynasty who gathered around them all shouted in unison to cheer for the two elders. At this time, their lives depended on these two elders. If these two elders were defeated, they would only die. However, the scene in front of them soon made them stunned and opened their mouths. Qin Feng moved his palms, and two huge heaven-shaking seals appeared between his fingers. These two heaven-shaking seals seemed to overthrow the sky. The huge hand seals filled the void, forming a vast wave of waves, heading towards the bottom to suppress the attack. Even though he was as powerful as two monks from the fourth level of the formless heaven, they could not stop Qin Feng's peerless edge. Under the blessing of the nine forbidden seal, the power of the heaven-turning seal was extremely powerful, filling the sky, and the terrifying mountains suppressed it, making all the killers here feel their souls throb and want to kneel down. Puff! Two loud noises came in succession, and the two monks from the fourth level of the formless heaven were instantly suppressed by Qin Feng's heaven-shaking seal and turned into flesh, with blood spurting out. The two elders of the fourth level of the Wuxiang heaven, both of whom were no match for Qin Feng, were killed on the spot. The surrounding monks were instantly frightened, and some even became incontinent and paralyzed on the ground. Qin Feng's power was so powerful that their souls were frightened, unable to resist, and their bones were weakening. At this moment, Qin Feng God King's vision surrounded his body, and terrifying light radiated out, like a demon king, surrounded by unparalleled momentum, shocking everyone around him and unable to resist. After killing these two killer Wuxiang elders, Qin Feng got a diamond scratch-off card, which he scratched without hesitation. Ding, congratulations! Remember to use the diamond scratch card successfully and get 80 fairy medium hand grenades. A low-grade immortal hand grenade, the shrapnel is made of immortal gold. It can instantly kill enemies in the phaseless realm, and its destructive power is extremely shocking. This. A happy smile appeared on Qin Feng's face. The system really did not deceive me. Swipe. At this moment, dozens more figures descended from the sky, surrounding Qin Feng, and the leader was in the sixth level of the invisible heaven. The sixth level of the Wuxiang heaven? The killer dynasty is really interesting. Qin Feng was suspended in mid-air without any clue. This killer dynasty was just a stronghold with dozens of phaseless masters stationed there. It was indeed worthy of being called the dynasty of the ancient continent. You just want to wipe out our assassin dynasty. The monk from the sixth level of Wuxiang heaven scolded him. He looked like he was only 50 or 60 years old. His energy and blood were very strong. He was extraordinary at first glance. This person is the supreme elder who killed the divine dynasty here. When he was young, he fell behind in the competition for the position of the Son of God and became the supreme elder here. Therefore, it can be seen that the opponent's qualifications were once extremely extraordinary. Otherwise, it would be impossible to compete for the position of the Son of God in the killer god's nest. What? Do you have any objections? Qin Feng landed on a mountain peak. Facing these people, he had no fear at all. To be so arrogant at a young age, you are asking for death. The elder of the sixth level of the formless heaven scolded, as his own light lingered, and terrifying power swept across the sky, making people terrified. Brush. Qin Feng greeted Sun Wuxian, and instantly stepped on Zhuexian and was suspended in the void. He looked down at the dozen elders below in the void, and curled up his lips with disdain. Escape from there, kid. Some elders thought that Qin Feng was afraid and wanted to escape, so he immediately rose into the air to stop Qin Feng to prevent him from escaping. Escape? Are you kidding? It's you who should escape. After Qin Feng finished speaking, he waved his hand and more than a dozen immortal grenades appeared in his palm, and he threw them downwards. Boom, boom, boom. The terrifying power spread out, and the endless divine power swept across the sky like a vast ocean. The terrifying power instantly changed the color of more than a dozen elders around him. This was the first time they had seen such a terrifying hidden weapon. However, before they had time to think too much, a terrible crisis came and it all affected them. Endless light was moving and surging here. The killing power of the fairy gold fragments was shocking and possessed incredible energy. The mountain of the Killer God Dynasty was burning with flames and the terrible energy light was crushing. When all these lights were dispersed, Qin Feng found that the mountaintop had been razed to the ground. As for the dozens of elders on it, they had no means of defense at all and turned into meat paste under the bombardment. What was even more shocking was that the extremely powerful Supreme Elder, who was attacked by Qin Feng, had terrible cracks on his body and his two arms had completely disappeared. On the distant mountaintop, the monks of the Killer God Dynasty who survived the disaster were all trembling in their hearts. Their Supreme Elder had become a useless person, which frightened them to the extreme. "Ah! I'm going to kill you." The Supreme Elder of the 6th level of Wuxiang was indeed full of vigorous blood. After such an attack, he had not lost his combat effectiveness and his vitality was still extremely strong. The Elder was filled with blood and energy. He opened his mouth and inhaled. The endless essence of the mountain poured into his mouth. His body was surging at a speed visible to the naked eye, ready to fight Qin Feng to the death. Swish! At this time, another grenade fell from the void, and by chance, it fell into the mouth of the Elder of the Killer Dynasty. Invincible Scratch Lottery System. Author, Xiankong Fashi. Chapter 427. The Supreme Elder of the Killer Dynasty opened his eyes wide in an instant. The crisis of death made him faint from fear on the spot. The next moment, dazzling flames shot up into the sky, and a medium-grade grenade exploded on the head of the Supreme Elder. There was no suspense. He, who was already injured, was instantly reduced to a bloody mist, leaving nothing behind. The monks of the Killer God Dynasty on other surrounding peaks were all extremely surprised. Their hearts were trembling wildly. The Supreme Elder stationed here had also been killed, and it was even less likely that they would survive. Qin Feng's face was calm, and he began to attack mercilessly here. Since these people came to kill people from the Divine Dynasty, there was definitely no innocent person. The strongest elder has been eliminated, and the others are naturally no match for the two. Puff, puff, puff. Qin Feng was ruthless and harvested the lives of the killers. Countless corpses flowed down the mountain, and the blood dyed the mountain red. After doing all this, Qin Feng and Sun Wuxian came to the sky above the mountain. Under his strong control, several grenades all fell here, razing the place to the ground. Soon after, Qin Feng and Sun Wuxian left here. They landed in front of a lake and prepared to wash away the blood stains on their bodies. At this time, it was almost evening, the breeze was blowing, the trees were swaying, and the two of them had just finished cleaning the blood on their bodies. A murderous aura could be heard in the dense forest, and more than 20 figures emerged, surrounding Qin Feng and the others, all exuding an astonishing murderous aura without concealment. Qin Feng and Sun Wuxian looked at the 24 figures around them with cold eyes, all filled with murderous intent. If my guess is correct, these 20 people should also be from the Assassin Dynasty. In other words, after the 8 masters of the Assassin Dynasty failed to attack Qin Feng, the 3 of them did not stay away. Instead, They saw Qin Feng alone in the void, leaving Suzaku and the others and coming to the barren mountain. So, these people gathered the masters and all moved towards Qin Feng, preparing to kill him in the mountains. When you saw us coming, you didn't run away. You really have some courage. The goddess of the killer dynasty, the sweet voice of the cave echoed between heaven and earth. This person's feet are in the void, and his true body is filled with hazy brilliance, like a mysterious goddess from the 9 heavens descending to earth. Who are you, the goddess of the assassin dynasty? Qin Feng's eyes were slightly cold. He raised his head and stared at the killer god in the void and asked the goddess. The other party is so outstanding, I am afraid she is not a goddess from the divine dynasty. Yes, it's me. Yeqing Chen, the goddess of the assassin dynasty, said that she was only 20 years old, with a voluptuous figure and an astonishing murderous intention. You guys came quite quickly. Do you want to collect the corpses from that divine dynasty stronghold? Qin Feng responded indifferently. For the goddess in front of him, murderous intent surged in his heart. Qin Feng, you are really like a hungry tiger and a wolf when you do this act of extermination. You are really vicious to the extreme. The goddess of the killer dynasty sneered. There were more than 20 figures around her, surrounding Qin Feng and Sun Wuxian, with murderous intent lingering out. These people are all in the formless realm, and the goddess in front of them is also in the formless 4th level of heavenly lightning, and her strength should not be underestimated. The matter of annihilation, haha. You, the killer dynasty, have killed countless people for the sake of yellow and white things. Now you are saying that I am committing annihilation. It's really ridiculous. Qin Feng spoke, his heart moved, and he said again, originally, I wanted to ask you to kill them all, but now I have changed my mind. I decided to spare your life and let you follow me and serve tea and water. And then watch how I make the assassin dynasty history. Haha, then you have to stay alive. Yeqing Chen, the goddess of the assassin dynasty, smiled sweetly and said that she didn't care about what Qin Feng said. In such a decisive situation now, if Qin Feng can still leave alive, then their killer dynasty really doesn't have to mess around. Are you just convinced of me? Qin Feng's eyes were full of murderous intent. These more than 20 people united together and probably had a way to restrain themselves, otherwise they wouldn't be so confident. Now everyone in Yanbei knows that you have become the holy son of the Suzaku Holy Land, but even if you can kill enemies across great realms, and you are only in the 1st level of the divine light, there are more than 20 of us here, and they will all crush you. There are more than a dozen small realms, it depends on how you cross the border. Yeqing Chen, the goddess of the assassin dynasty, had a sneer on her face, and her killing intent was heart-wrenching. Qin Feng's heart moved. It seems that these people have done enough research on him, and both of you know your own strength to break through the 1st level of Shenzhou. Since you know that I am in the 1st level of Shenzhou, you should also know that your stronghold not far away still has elders in the formless realm. Even they are not my opponents. Do you think you can do it too? Qin Feng sneered disdainfully. Even if these people investigated him thoroughly, they would not know that he had obtained a special magic weapon on that mountain. When the goddesses of the killer dynasty heard this, their eyes flashed slightly. On their mountain, there were indeed elders in the formless realm. So many people were killed by Qin Feng and Sun Wuxian. There was indeed great doubt. The people left behind on that mountain are all low-level beings, and all the real masters were brought out by me. Otherwise, just you want to uproot our mountain. Yeqing Chen said in a cold voice, if it weren't for the fact that she transferred more than 20 masters on the mountain in order to intercept Qin Feng's life might have been left on that mountain. This is also the worst thing about Yeqing Chen. So many killers were wasted, and it was so unnecessary. Goten, please leave with Ryoma first. Qin Feng sent a message to Sun Wukong and said that if Sun Wuxian were here, he would only be restrained. He, Longma, has extreme speed and can take Sun Wuxian out of here first, allowing him to eliminate his worries. Haha, Qin Feng, don't waste your efforts, neither of you two can escape. The goddess Yaqingqin's smile was extremely cold. She intercepted Qin Feng's message and said with a smile. Just laugh now while I'm doing it. I'll spank you in a while and I'll leave you with no place to cry. Qin Feng said with a sneer. He slapped the dragon and horse, and the dragon and horse instantly took Sun Wuxian away through the sky. You! Goddess Yaqingqin scolded, and her palms instantly shot out a brilliant streak, slapping it towards the dragon and horse. Bang! Qin Feng took action decisively. He blocked the opponent's attack and exchanged a blow with the opponent. The light between the two was dazzling and the momentum was overwhelming. Humph, I'm waiting for you to spank me. Seeing that she was stopped, the goddess Yaqingqin chuckled, her smile was very charming. Invincible Scratch Lottery System. Author, Xiankong Fashi. Chapter 428. Qin Feng felt a little speechless when he heard this. This woman is really not taboo about meat and vegetables, and she deserves to be a goddess. You bitch, you dare to torture and kill the divine son of our divine dynasty. Even if the great Lugo immortal comes here, he won't be able to save you. An older man sneered and said that when their holy son tried to kill Qin Feng, he did not expect to be killed in the hands of the other party. He was one of the 3 killers who escaped. If Qin Feng cannot be killed here and the news spreads, the son of their killer dynasty will definitely become a joke among his peers. Even their killer dynasty will be laughed out of their wits. You old bastard, I will send you to see that little bastard in a moment. Qin Feng dropped these words, and the vision of the God King emerged, and he took out his immortal killing Shura. Chi! Qin Feng slashed out with his sword. The brilliant sword light was extremely dazzling and stopped the masters who were about to chase Sun Wuxian, preventing them from taking another step forward. You bastard, die! Several other monks in the Supreme Realm also spoke. They were elders sent by the Assassin dynasty in the capital of the Yan Kingdom here. Because he heard that his son of God had been killed, the person in charge sent several elders to take action together, preparing to deal with Qin Feng directly to avoid future troubles. This time, they were very cautious and no longer acted rashly like during the day. During the day, because they did not find out Qin Feng's performance in recent days, they underestimated the enemy and let the Son of God die in vain. The loss was not small. Qin Feng was not afraid of this. He stood in the 9 Forbidden Realm in an instant, and powerful visions surrounded his body, exuding an astonishing aura. Moreover, he is triggering the divine ban one after another. As long as he can enter the divine Forbidden Realm, he can kill all enemies. Otherwise, he can only injure a few people and then escape, because these people are all in the formless realm and have extremely advanced cultivation levels, which are even more terrifying than Zhu Fengji and the others. The most important thing is that Qin Feng's Pangu's foot has been used, and it will be some time before the next use. As for the low-grade immortal hand grenades, there are not many left, and Qin Feng plans to save them for use when breaking out. After all, there are too many enemies. Even if all the remaining grenades are used, it is impossible to annihilate them all. Boom! Qin Feng used the 10 palaces of Yama, and a vision of Shura appeared in front of him, holding a red light sword in his hand, which was earth-shattering. As Qin Feng's cultivation level increased, the power of the 10 palaces of Yama became stronger and stronger. At this time, it already had the power of a medium-level immortal. Moreover, the Pangu bloodline has the effect of refining and upgrading the skills. The power of the 10 palaces of Yama is getting stronger and stronger, but the amount of true energy required is very rich. If ordinary beings use it, they will definitely be drained of all their energy. Even if Qin Feng is as powerful as a god king, he can only release 4 major Shura visions at most. There is still a long way to go before he can summon the rumored 10 palaces of Yama. Brush. Shura Vision stepped forward and slashed with a knife. This knife looked extremely refined and not cumbersome at all. However, the power exerted was earth-shattering under the blessing of the Nine Forbiddens. The brilliant sword light reached tens of feet, and the void that was cut was trembling wildly. The terrifying energy light was raging, and the strong wind stirred up made Yakinchin's hair dance wildly. Clang! A divine assassin from the fourth level of the formless heaven took action boldly. In his palm, a shield rose up with the storm and blocked the front. With a loud clang sound, the shield grew to a size of dozens of feet, blocking Qin Feng's immortal killing Shura. However, the powerful vibration force spread out and directly blew away the killer of the divine dynasty. Go out! Crack! This elder-level killer of the divine dynasty was in the void, and the powerful shield in his hand collapsed in an instant and turned into powder. His power was really amazing. Call out! This elder-level killer of the divine dynasty paused in the void. He held a thin sword and turned around in the void, stabbing Qin Feng's throat at an extremely fast speed. At the same time, the remaining 20-odd masters in the formless realm all took action brazenly, their swords intertwined into a web, and their terrifying killing intent was so terrifying that it made people feel chilly in their hearts. Brush! Qin Feng thought, and the four visionary runes of Qinglong, White Tiger, Suzaku, and Suanwu appeared around him. This strange rune clanged and sealed a dozen people in the four-image rune array. Seeing this scene, Qin Feng stepped on the immortal step and rushed forward. Four elders in the phaseless realm were blocked by the four-image rune formation. Qin Feng decided to strike first and kill these four elders in the phaseless realm first. He could feel that although his four-image runes were powerful and could stop more than a dozen assassins and super elders, they could not last more than a few minutes. Swipe! Qin Feng took action boldly. He stood in the Nine Forbidden Realm, and performed the 8 immortal killing moves in the void. The terrifying sword light sealed the sky and locked the earth, with a monstrous sword light, which was extremely shocking. Chi! The 8 immortal slaying moves under the blessing of the Nine Forbiddens, each move is more powerful than the last move. With 81 times the power, the sword energy is earth-shattering, even the elders in the phaseless realm cannot bear it. Puff, puff, puff. Blood spurted out, and the four phaseless realm elders who were blocked by the four symbols rune array screamed in horror and were instantly chopped alive in the void by Qin Feng. At the same time, Qin Feng was also blown away by the light of the four elders, and fell into the mountains, with a trace of blood at the corner of his mouth. Qin Feng's armor was effective again, and the God King's golden bell cover protected him, so that he did not suffer much damage and still had strong combat power. Swish! After dealing with the four elders, Qin Feng did not stop and fled far away with the immortal step. Sure enough, just as Qin Feng left, the four symbols rune formation collapsed under the attack of the goddess and elders of the killer divine dynasty, spreading energy waves like a landslide and tsunami. Chase! As the goddess Yeqing Cheng broke through the siege, her eyes revealed a shocking cold light. She gave an order and took more than a dozen elders to chase Qin Feng with the god runes. Qin Feng killed countless elders, making their divine dynasty lose so much face, and also killed their god son. They didn't want to let him go at all. Qin Feng turned into a divine rainbow, shuttling through the void. He felt the figure flying behind him, and his eyes blossomed with murderous intent. The enemy following him was very fast, not inferior to his Nixian step. It was very likely that he used some magic weapon that could speed up. It seemed that these people had already learned that his Nixian step was extremely special, and had already thought of a countermeasure for it. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Invincible Scratch Lottery System. Author, Xiankong Fa. Chapter 429. Qin Feng, don't waste your efforts. You can't escape. The voice of the killer god facing the goddess Yeching Cheng came from far behind. If you don't run away, how will you know you can't escape? Qin Feng was hurried in front and said calmly that his immortal step was extremely fast and those people could not catch up with him in a short period of time. Qin Feng, you'd better stop. Your body skills are extremely extraordinary. If you take the initiative to surrender to us, the Killer God dynasty can make you a son of God. The elders and goddesses of the killer crowd were all shocked. They used runes to catch up with Qin Feng. But Qin Feng didn't use any runes, which was enough to show how amazing the opponent's rapid flight was. Qin Feng was flying rapidly over this area, and he was triggering the divine ban one after another. As long as he could stand in the divine forbidden area, he was ready to turn around and kill all these people. At the same time, he was also pouring Mingzhao Dan into his mouth, trying to see if he could break through a small realm again. Dream, the killer dynasty, I am ashamed of your company. Qin Feng ignored it at all. He transformed into a stream of light and shadow here, and his speed increased a lot again. The more Yeching Cheng and others chased him, the more frightened they became. Qin Feng's speed was really too fast. If their killer dynasty could obtain such skills, their success rate would be greatly increased when taking on tasks. They chased him straight from dusk until late at night. At this time, they no longer knew how far they were from the capital of Dian Kingdom. It was not until late at night that Qin Feng finally triggered the forbidden realm of the gods. He stood in the void, surrounded by white mist, like fairy energy. Qin Feng turned around and stared at Yeching Cheng and the other elders who were following him, and stopped running away. Run, why don't you run? An elder from the 5th level of Wuxiang said in a cold voice that he thought Qin Feng was finally exhausted and that the other party's power was endless, which really shocked him. Qin Feng, didn't you say you wanted to spank me? Come on. Yeching Cheng smiled sweetly. She was suspended in mid-air. When they were chasing Qin Feng just now, they used acceleration runes, so they didn't consume much. At this time, she was swinging gently in the void, showing her enchanting appearance and all kinds of charm. Since you are so sincere, then as you wish. After Qin Feng's words fell, he suddenly turned into a golden light and disappeared here. Then a harsh trembling sound spread throughout the area. Crack! An extremely elastic voice came, and then Qin Feng's figure appeared from the same place again. No one noticed his figure except Yeching Cheng. The elders of the assassin dynasty around them all looked at their goddess with strange expressions, with a look of astonishment on their faces. It seemed that their goddess really made people have a big butt. Yeching Cheng was stunned. At the very moment, she realized that she was being attacked, but she didn't notice the other party at all, which shocked her extremely. The burning sensations coming from her buttocks all told her that she had really been slapped hard just now. Well, it's so fun. Qin Feng chuckled lightly, with a teasing look on his face. He stared at Yeching Cheng, whose expression suddenly changed in front of him, with a look of malice on his face. At the moment just now, he was standing in the realm of the gods. With the blessing of the immortal walk and the divine forbidden, if he traveled through time and space, he instantly appeared behind Yeching Cheng and gave him a blow. I'm going to kill you. At this moment, Yeching Cheng's face turned red. She never thought that Qin Feng would really do this. The most important thing was that she was attacked without reacting at all, which she couldn't understand. Just now, he was desperately trying to escape from Qin Feng. How could he be so powerful at this moment? Buzz. At this moment, terrifying energy fluctuations came, and Qin Feng's own shackles were broken. He entered a small realm again and was born in the 2nd level of the divine light. Impossible, you just improved a small level, how come your speed is so much faster? Yeching Cheng frowned. She was extremely cautious. Even though she said she wanted to kill Qin Feng, she did not take action rashly. I am very powerful, don't panic, you will have a lot of opportunities to see me in the future. After Qin Feng's words fell, he stepped on the immortal step and took action instantly. At this time, he was already standing in the divine forbidden realm and was no longer afraid of these enemies in the formless realm. It won't be long before the divine forbidden realm can establish itself. He needs to kill all the masters of the phaseless realm on the spot within this limited time. Sending you on your way. Qin Feng's voice fell, and with a chilla sound, the immortal killing Shura was displayed, and 4 Shura visions suddenly appeared in the world. Each of the Shura visions is about 10 feet high, with a divine form that reaches the sky and moves the earth. They all hold a red light knife in their hands, burning heavy Shura divine flames, crushing the void and slashing forward. The terrifying vision, slaying the sky and destroying the earth, all the elders in the phaseless realm were shocked. They were all shocked by the fact that Qin Feng had such terrifying killing power after chasing him all the way. Puff. 4 elders from the phaseless realm intervened to block. In an instant, they were blasted into pulp by the 10 palaces of Yama, which was blessed with hundreds of times the power of the forbidden realm. They were unable to withstand even a trace. Hiss. The remaining dozen elders all gasped. Qin Feng had only increased a small level, but how could his strength be superimposed hundreds of times? They all couldn't believe it. Boom. They attacked with all their strength, countless magic weapons and flying swords were sent towards Qin Feng. The terrible light was so bright that it shook the sky and the earth, and completely submerged the place where Qin Feng stood. At this moment, Qin Feng's vision of the God King turned into a golden bell cover, which was buckled on his body. Under the blessing of the God Forbidden Field, the God King's golden bell cover was indestructible. All the magic weapons and flying swords hit Qin Feng's golden bell cover, shattered on the spot, and spread out endless energy waves, which blew away all the dozen elders. Even the goddess Yeching Cheng was no exception, she was also bounced away by the power directly shaken out by Qin Feng. Since you have repeatedly tried to kill me, now you all have to die. Qin Feng stepped forward, and between his palms and fingers, a mountain instantly spread out. Under the blessing of the God Forbidden Field, the heaven-flipping seal spread to a distance of several hundred feet, as majestic and towering as a real mountain. The mountain became extremely real, with runes of flowers, birds, fish, insects, etc. engraved on it, directly suppressing the front. Quick, smash it together. At this moment, the goddess Yeching Chen was terrified, she shouted loudly, she felt a terrible crisis on this Tianfan seal, which made her heart cold. Boom. The terrible murderous aura lingered, and more than a dozen elders all attacked brazenly, and were killed by Qin Feng's Tianfan seal in an instant. Warm reminder, if you find that clicking the next page will force you to jump to other websites, please use the chapter error or contact us at the bottom to inform us, we will deal with it as soon as possible. Thank you for your understanding. Invincible Scratch Lottery System. Author, Xiankong Fashi. Chapter 430. Crack. A terrifying cold light burst out, and there was an elder from the 4th level of the formless heaven. His bones were broken and his tendons were broken after being directly suppressed by the heaven-turning seal. Goddess, please leave quickly, we will stop you. The voices of several elders came, and their bodies surged with divine power, firmly resisting Qin Feng's heaven-shaking seal. Goddess Yeching Cheng also knew that it was irreversible. When she heard the voices of the elders, she decisively transformed into a stream of light and rushed out of the range of the heaven-turning seal. Puff. Immediately afterwards, the heaven-turning seal suppressed them, directly suppressing all the remaining dozen elders into pulp. The practice has reached the formless state, the spirit is extremely powerful, and the vitality is extremely amazing. Several elders were suppressed below by the Tianxia seal, but they are still struggling and have not died. The terrifying roars and screams made the goddess Yeching Cheng change her color immediately. Just because Qin Feng had risen to a small level, the power of the handprints she made increased by hundreds of times. This terrifying aptitude made her transform and feel cold. Well. The last elder sobbed and couldn't die anymore. 20 dozen elders who were killers in the formless realm were all destroyed physically and mentally. Qin Feng, you are so cruel. The goddess of the assassin dynasty looked very unhappy. More than 20 elders from the phaseless realm died in front of her, leaving no trace of blood on her face. Qin Feng was suspended in mid-air, staring at the goddess Yeching Cheng in front of him, and said, "You, the killer dynasty, attack and kill other people's husbands, sons, parents, wives and children for the sake of your mission. Can you be more cruel than you? Base." The killer god Yeching Chen knew that it would be useless to talk more, so she took out a water-filled thin sword, which bloomed with amazing colors. "Girl, are you going to tie your own hands or wait for me to do it myself?" Qin Feng was suspended in mid-air, looking down at the goddess Yeching Cheng in front of him. She was tall and slender with perfect curves. At this moment, the flawless and beautiful face was filled with murderous intent, making it look very cold and charming. "You have killed dozens of elders and sons of God. You'd better pray that I don't catch you. Otherwise, I won't let you die." There was a sneer at the corner of Yaqingqing's lips. She was in the 4th level of the Wuxiang heaven. As a goddess, she had extraordinary talents and had calmed down at this time. "Tisk, tisk, tisk, how dare you speak to the master like this? I'll fix you up in a moment." A smile appeared on Qin Feng's face. All the people had been killed. He was already confident of winning. Even if he fell into the forbidden realm, Qin Feng was sure to catch him. Base. Yeching Cheng said nothing more. She took action decisively, and the fairy sword in her hand instantly penetrated the void, piercing the dazzling sword light, causing the void to break inch by inch, and slashing out the terrifying sword light. "Hey, you dare to murder the master, please be beaten." Qin Feng teased, but his hands were not idle. The person in front of him was the goddess of the killer dynasty, and she was definitely a snake-hearted person. Brush. Qin Feng took action instantly and struck the sky-shaking seal forward, shaking the void of heaven and earth. Seeing Qin Feng's move again, Yeching Cheng was shocked. She stepped on Suanbu and jumped hundreds of meters in an instant to avoid Qin Feng's heaven-shaking seal. Boom! The heaven-turning seal once again exerted terrible pressure, and the killing void was distorted. Countless mountains of vegetation were hit and directly destroyed, leaving the place in a mess. The light wave from the sky-turning seal still affected Yaqingqing's body. The treasure armor protecting her exploded instantly, and many symbols disappeared into the void, blocking this terrible blow for her. Qin Feng's face was cold, although he said that he would spare the other party's life in order to learn the stronghold of the killer dynasty from the other party's mouth. However, he is by no means an indecisive person. If he is not sure of capturing him alive, he will be killed on the spot. Yaqingqing's protective body armor was shattered by the strong wind of Qin Feng's heaven-turning seal. At this time, she was in a happy mood, with only a few secret parts protected by some underwear. However, this made her look like even more tempting. Faced with her own situation, Yeching Cheng didn't show any embarrassment at all. Even if she was looked at by the enemy in front of her, she didn't care at all. In the face of life and death, all this is not important. As long as you can kill the enemy in front of you, even if you see the other party's privacy, so what? Boom! At this moment, Yeching Cheng swallowed a violent pill in an instant, and her energy and blood surged instantly, rising to a higher level again, reaching the 5th level of the formless heaven. Although this violent pill will cause a certain state of weakness after being used, at this time, there is no longer anything to worry about in order to survive. Brush. Yeching Cheng holds a thin sword in her hand, like a flying fairy from the sky. The human sword merges into one, her slender legs are close together, and the whole body blooms with endless light, penetrating the void. A roar came from the heaven and earth, and the space was broken open. The power was terrifyingly powerful. At this time, Yeching Cheng has reached the point where heaven and man are one, which can be said to be very terrifying, and even the void spreads endless waves. Seeing this scene, Qin Feng didn't dare to be careless. The woman in front of him was worthy of being the goddess of the killer dynasty. She was indeed very scary. Especially after the opponent took a pill, the power he exerted was superimposed several times, which made him feel a little bit wary. Clang! Qin Feng blocked the immortal slaying Shura in front. Yeching Chen's thin sword happened to be stabbed in front of Qin Feng, but was stopped by his immortal slaying Shura. However, the next moment, Yeching Cheng twisted her body like a beautiful snake, and the fairy sword in her hand suddenly vibrated again, expanding the amazing sword energy, and the power suddenly became much stronger. Fortunately, Qin Feng blocked the front with the immortal killer Shura. He felt that if it weren't for him, the immortal killer Shura would be standing in front of him at the critical moment. I'm afraid that the fairy armor might not be able to intercept the opponent's fairy sword. However, the material of the immortal killer Shura is extremely amazing, almost comparable to the lower level weapons of the earthly immortals, so it completely blocked Yeching Chen's fatal blow. Bang! Qin Feng shook his hand and shook Yeching Chen directly away. Even the medium-level fairy sword in Yeching Chen's hand was directly broken by Qin Feng. Yeching Chen's body flipped in the void, and she was steadily suspended in the void, with an unbelievable look in her eyes. At this moment, her chest and buttocks were violently heaving, and her face showed an unprecedented shock. Her medium-grade flying sword was broken by the opponent. This posture was too terrible. Little girl, surrender quickly, otherwise, I will beat your buttocks into 8 pieces. At this time, Qin Feng decided to fight quickly. This goddess is very powerful and her skills are powerful. If he delays any longer, he is afraid that other people from the Killer God dynasty will chase him, and then it will be dangerous. Warm reminder, if you find that clicking the next page will force you to jump to other websites, please use the chapter error or contact us at the bottom to inform us. We will deal with it as soon as possible. Thank you for your understanding.